and welcome. Today I have another ink review video for you. This is called Sweet Honeydew by Ferris Press, and as you can see, it's got this beautiful box. They do a wonderful job on the designs of all of their packaging. You see all that wonderful gold foil. Here's how that looks here. So I'm going to go ahead and open this, and I'm trying really hard not to damage the boxes because I use them for displaying my inks. And there we go. Okay, got it. All right, there we go. Okay, and here's how this looks. I went back and forth about whether or not to get this one for many months. It's a lighter color, and I wasn't really sure if I would like it, but I decided there's only one way to find out, and that's to try it, right? So let me just adjust the camera 1 second. All right, there we go, we're back. I'm going to use this carriage that you can get from Ferris Press. It just holds the bottle like this, so I'm less likely to tip it over. All right, so first of all, let's get this off of here. This ink shouldn't have any shimmers or anything in it. It's just a pretty green. It's supposed to be a little bit on the pale side. And I like having different types of inks and different types of colors because then you've got a little more variety. So I did not have a green like this from any of the ink companies. I don't think I have a green like this, so unless I'm just completely spacing out and forgetting, but yeah. So this ink matches the name very well. Very good choice on the name selection. So whoever was responsible for that, they did a great job. Okay, I'm going to set that down and let's go ahead and write the name. Okay, whoops. Sweet Honeydew. This is by Ferris Press. All right, this is definitely on the lighter side. Here's how it looks so far. I'm going to set this under a fan to dry and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back and I've got some copy paper here. And the reason I test these inks on copy paper is sometimes you're stuck in a situation where you don't have any of your nicer papers with you. So maybe you are at school or work or something and you just want to know if the ink is going to behave so you can use it. So that's why I always test on this. And this is copy paper. And I've heard that there are inks that are dry and more wet, and I'm still sort of learning. This to me feels a little bit drier than some of the other inks I've tested, so maybe I'm starting to figure out what people mean by dry ink. All right. This is HP 32. And HP 32 is a lot smoother. It is a copy paper still, but it's smoother and it resists the ink a little bit. So if there are any special effects in this ink, it might show up on this paper. So that's why I always test it. I'm going to get a little more ink on here because it is feeling a little bit dry. Sweet Honeydew. And I do not mind dry inks. They don't bother me. I know that some people really don't like them. So if you don't like dry inks, you might not like this one. All right, I'm going to go ahead and draw some lines here. And if there are any other colors you'd like to see me review, just leave a suggestion. And if I have it or if I can get it, then we can do a review video. All right, oops. That's how it looks so far. It seems to be a little bit more legible on this paper, at least how it looks so far anyway. All right, and this is Tomoe River, and Tomoe River paper typically shows off the ink properties the best. It resists the ink really well. So I always like to do a test with it. And I will say that the writing experience with this ink is much better on this paper and the HP 32 than it was on the copy paper. So this ink is definitely going to be better on the nicer papers, at least the writing experience part of it. Okay, Sweet Honeydew. And let's see, Tomo River. All right, and this is, yeah, Tomo River. Okay, and if these videos are helpful to you at all, or if you enjoy watching them, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. That way you don't miss anything, and of course it helps me out. All right, there we go. All right, super pretty color. I'm going to check on our swatch and see if it's dry. I'll be right back. All right, so here's how those swatches turned out. Here is the copy paper. You can see it's really pale. It's kind of hard to read, but it is definitely legible, and it looked much better once it was dried. I don't see any feathering, so this might actually be safe to use on copy paper, but like I mentioned, the writing experience on copy paper did not feel as good as it did on the HP 32 and the Tomo River, and even though that's normal, this was a little bit exaggerated to where I just felt like I wasn't getting enough ink down. And so I would call this a dry ink. That's what I would call it. So anyway, just for your information, some people, like I said, they don't like dry ink, so I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that. Other than that, though, it's a beautiful color, and I do enjoy it, and I probably will use it anyway because the dry inks don't bother me. And right in here, you can see a little bit of shading, kind of. It is a much richer looking color here than on the copy paper, but it's still very, very light. And then here it is on the Tomo River, and this is where you can start to see a little bit of that shading come out here and a little bit in the writing. It's really, really pretty, and this really is the color of honeydew. If you've ever had a honeydew melon, this is what they look like inside. So it's really pretty. And here's how the swatch turned out. Really good representation of the color. You got a little bit of that shading here, a tiny bit of halo shading around some of these ribbons, and really, really nice pale honeydew melon green. And you can see in the writing there's a little bit of that shading going on. I hope the camera picks this up. I mean, it is a really pale ink, but super pretty. So if you do like these lighter inks, then you'll probably like this one. I'll leave a link to where you can find their inks below. And thank you so much for watching. You have a great day.